Tom Flanagan. We're here in Baylin at Loan, County Westmeath. On this block we're farming 50 acres with between 55 and 60 cows, grazing for as long as we can really.
Tom, you're a busy man running 3 veterinary practices. What made you decide to get into dairy?
I grew up on a dairy farm. We got out of milk for about 10 years. My dad ran into health issues, and just to make the farm viable again, there was a decision whether to lease out the farm or to actively farm it ourselves. And we figured we'd go back into milk and try to farm it ourselves. We went back into milk in 2020 with 1 unit on a small block of land again, 43 acres. We could only milk 60 cows on that. And then there was a conscious decision because of work to try and develop a second unit here to justify a full-time on-farm labour unit outside of myself. I work mostly off-farm, so I need on-farm help. We needed a second unit to justify the labour unit.
5 years in, the herd here is well established. What was your criteria when sourcing heifers?
As with everything on the farm, everything had to be easily done, everything has to be simple. So we needed a cow that would look after herself, that would need minimal input. So we've sourced cows from around the area, from neighbouring farmers around the area that would have kind of a low input cow.
With the robots, you're on a ABC grazing platform. Had you much changes to make to the farm here?
So initially, when the robots were going in, there was a central roadway through the farm. We just put spurs off that, and we set up our ABC, 40% A, 40% B, 20% C, with roadways to match that.
We can see some existing buildings and some new buildings here, Tom. Was there much infrastructure needed to facilitate the robots?
Initially on the farm here, this was an out farm with a beef unit on it. We converted the beef unit, and there was an old hay shed on it. We converted that into the cubicle shed with plenty of feed space around it. And then just standing adjacent to that, we put up a new build, just a simple structure just to hold a robot, milk tank and an office. Everything is simple and low cost on this farm.
Getting back into milk in 2020, what made you go with any robots?
Working off farm, and that being my principal source of income, dairy unit had to fit around that, so there was no other option for me, only robots. It allows me to be flexible with my time on farm, and it was just the only option for me.
Labour is an ongoing issue on dairy farms at the minute. How has the robots enabled your setup?
We're lucky enough to have a local guy, James Carroll, who's come in and manages the farm all year round. He works 40 hours a week on the farm. He starts at 7 in the morning, he finishes at 3:30 in the day, and I fill in the gaps around that then. It's got to the point now where I've minimal input on the farm.
You're on the road every day. Have you seen any difference in hoof health with herds from robot farms?
You'll probably notice it going from a robot farm to a conventional farm. The robot farmers, their roadways are not in as good a nick as conventional farmers. They don't need to be. The cows can go out at their own pace, they pick their own steps. We could always do it, doing them a bit better, but they don't need to be quite as good as the conventional farmers.
Tom, you've an 85% 6-week calving interval here. How important is this in a busy spring?
We try to keep that really tight. This year we bred for 9 weeks and 2 days. Largely because I get fed up calving cows after 2 months, and we need to calve them in a tight block, get the calves reared and get them out.
Looking into the future, what's the plan for your dairy enterprise?
The next 5 years we'll continue to do what we're doing with the cows. We've 2 units. We probably will push them to 60 cows per unit, but not much further than that. I think if we push it any more than that, we'll have to put more labour into it, and there'll be stressors there we just don't want. If I was to expand anything on the farm, we would keep more of the dairy beef calves and maybe run a sideline beef unit, but no, I don't really have the interest or the time to push it more than 120 cows.